Hello again. Another week, and we've had Storm Goretti, it's this follow-on storm, and I was asked to repair this shed door. The wind caught it and ripped the hinges and broke them all. So I went up there, had a look, brought some new hinges. I put a new sliding bolt on it as well, just so it could be shut properly and not get blown open in the wind. So that was my first job for the start of the week, and then we just continued with other bits. Right, we're back at number 6. This is the worktop that they've chosen. It's Italian marble, it's called. Oh, there's a bit at the top off. But unfortunately, this was being delivered. It's a bit of a pain. I did ask them to cut it down, but I asked them to leave. Well, I gave them dimensions to make it slightly long because it's not ideal. It's got chips in it, and I knew I had to shape it to the wall, so I'm going to have to put a scribe in there, take a bit more off because it's got a chip in it. Yeah, this is the duff end. So I've got to plane that down, scribe that to fit the corner. Lucky it's got plenty of overhang. So, and then I've got to take a bit off this because it's chipped. Yeah. So today I'm going to do this. We're still waiting for the electrician to come. He was supposed to come some time ago, but that hasn't happened. I could always go and do some installation, but I know I want to do that last thing because I'm going to be itchy after that. I might start in the bathroom. We've got all the shower board Respatex sheets. The painters are finished now, so I can get everything out of here that's been thrown in here, and I can Respatex these two walls, get them done. That'll tidy up a bit. Apart from, we need power behind here for a heated towel rail. Right, I've just put the edgings on the worktop because the worktops had to be removed from the kitchen. So just fix impacts, compact adhesive on both sides. You let it dry, then you put it on. Then just clean it up with the plate and file on both ends. The reason they had to come off is because the electrician's been in. He's wiring up his cables into the sockets, and then we've got, he's got to chase out the walls before I can put the worktop on. So I've just been doing bits and pieces what I can do whilst he's doing this. Hopefully I'll be here tomorrow. I'm away tomorrow, got to go to the UK, so I'll be a few days over there. So this has been an incredibly short week, 2 days, and not a great deal's happened. So I'll just roll this over into the next episode that comes. This will just be a follow-on. So we'll do 2 weeks as one. So hopefully it'll get more done next week. Hello again, back on site. This is Tuesday today. I worked yesterday. I've just been away to the UK for a few days. But yesterday it was curtain poles, I had to adjust the door. There's just little bits and pieces here, there and everywhere. Collected some stuff for here, so I didn't really do any video out of it. So just remembered how heavy these worktops are. This is the shorter one. The edging, I put that on last week. So I'm just going to cut this end down. So I'll flip it over and cut it from the underside, so it's not going to rip all the damage the edge. And then got my skill saw, I'll use that and I'll plane it down a little bit. And then I'll do the same on that one. But then unfortunately the electricians haven't chased out yet for these cables. So I might stick this one in, get that end fitted, cut the sink out, and then when the plumber comes to the bathroom, he can plumb this up, and there's another job done. There's not a great deal left to do in this room, but the more I can get done, the better. I need to get this room finished, and I want to get the bathroom finished downstairs. So if I can get that done this week, I'll be pleased. Right, I've marked up the worktop. What you do is you put the face top work down, mark the edges, and it's usually 10mm back from all the sides. You cut that out, and then it fits in nicely then. The positioning I've put is the tap is central with the centre of the doors. It doesn't really matter, but if it's close, you might as well keep it on. And that way, this upright is supporting the weights up of this part of the worktop. It's going to be half on it. The disadvantage of that is the clips that go and hold the sink in that go in here. I'll have to nibble out the top of this. I'll show you that later. This is cutting out to here. So the problem is if anyone stands on this, which hopefully they won't, it's all supported just by these two lots of 50mm worktop. So it's not ideal. I might put a back on the back as long as it doesn't interfere with the dishwasher that's going in there. I've left the film on it, the protective film, just because I'm using a jigsaw to cut it out and I'm cutting it from the top, and I don't want to mark the worktop, so I'll just give it a bit of protection. And I'm not fitting the worktop yet. I'm going to pull it out, put it back on the trestles, which will make it a lot easier to cut, and then you're not interfering with the cupboard. And I've evened it out, so I've got 50mm either side, and that way, hopefully, it's going to miss this steel that runs along the front. But if not, it doesn't always, we can adjust it and fiddle it. Technically, because there's a splashback at the back, we should move this forward slightly, but then we will be onto the steel. And that means the steel has to come out and cause more problems. Right, I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to drill 4 holes, so it's got a radius on the corner. If you do a square cut, it takes all the strength out of the worktop. Interesting facts, that's why planes used to fall out of the sky. There's square windows. Everything's a lot stronger with a curve. So we'll put a nice radius on that, as long as we've got plenty of room here inside. And I'll jigsaw up to the hole. Right, that's the sink cut out and dropped in. So I did it with a 32mm bit to get the radius on the corners. I'll take the sink out and show you more. So I've got round corners. I drilled from the top down with the drill bit, and then I flipped the worktop upside down, marked it all from under the side, used the skill saw to cut the straight edges, and I couldn't get right to the edges, so I used the jigsaw just to finish it off. The problem I've got now is the clips that hold the sink in are going to be right where this is. So what I'm going to do is put the sink in, mark where the clips are going to go. This is just missed the steel, so I'm going to have to cut a bit of the worktop out to get the clips in there. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll flip this worktop over, I'll mark the sink, flip it over, and I can notch the worktop out with the router, and then that way I can stick the sink to the worktop, and I've just realised that's going to be right in the way of the tap. I'll have to cut that out. So I'll stick the sink into the worktop, and with it all chopped out, then I can put it in as one unit. Well, I've just stripped 3 layers of paper off that wall, which was a bit of a nightmare. What I did was I used my paint scraper, and I scored the wall. I put loads of slices in the wallpaper, and then gave it a good soaking with the water spray. Let that penetrate, and you get a layer off at a time. So it's taken me a good few hours to get that sorted. But this is the room that the shower's going in. The shower's going along there, so we're having panelling bonded to the wall, and I can't bond it to the wallpaper because it'll just come off. Mind you, saying that, we found out that the chimney breast is very damp, and it's been affected by water for quite some time. these little access panels that go into the chimney. A bit strange, as I was stripping the wallpaper, some of it was getting sucked in. Front door's open because the electrician's downstairs doing the cutting out for the cables in the kitchen. So I was doing the worktops. I thought I'd move up here whilst he's doing that. So I've got to clean this mess up. Funny enough, I've got a Fitbit that I wear. And after doing the scraping, the scraper, I've done 10,000 steps already today. So yeah, that's going to be a big total tonight, even though I haven't moved that far. Right, I've got to clean this up. I've got to go back down to the store, number 3. So every time I go down, I have to take something with me because otherwise, up and down, we're on the 4th floor. So it's a lot of stairs to go up and down. Right, I've just had to put the rubber gasket, it's like sticky, you pull the backing off and you can stick it on. You don't get a lot extra with it. I can put the chrome bits in, the blanking plates. There's 2 with this kit for some reason. And it said it should have 1, 2, that's 4, 5, 6, that's 8. 2, 4, 6, that's 8 clips. And it says it should have 10 for this one, but there's only 8. So I'm going to flip the worktop over, drop it in, screw it up from underneath, then I'll manoeuvre it onto the unit. Right, that's the worktop in position now, the sink's in. I've had to remove that piece that was going across the top because it was right where the tap was going to go. So now we've got space for the tap's up under there. A bit dusty. Yeah, so that can all be fixed down now, I think. The electrician, he had some cable there, but I think he's moved it. Yeah, it's all, we need to get the plumber back, but we can take that end out and leave the worktop as it is, and we'll still be able to lift the floor up and you can get under there. I want to put a batten against the back wall. I might use that bit of ply. It's got a couple of brackets on this side, just to give it a bit more strength. I've still got all the protective coating on because hopefully it's just if it's getting decorated or whatever. We're having a splashback panel, which will be going all the way around this way up to the edge of the units. So I have to put something there just to give it something to fit to. Oh, there's a radiator going there, so we can finish that off, we can do something with it. I've got 30 minutes before it's time to go. So I've got the electrician to give me a hand with this one, but I had to flip it over and put the sink in and all that. So this is a big heavy one. So what I might do, I've got 4 trestles. I might slide it along onto this one, put another trestle here, so I can walk it in and then lift it up and put it on. Now it's all done, that can be finished off. I need to mark this end, so I have to put it in and I have to take it back out again and cut it. But I can do that on the trestles here. So I think, yeah, we'll get it in and mark it and see, because the end of the worktop it's got a few chips on it. It's just the cut end they had, and it's just been damaged in transit. So I've got like 10 mil I can take off, which would clean that up. And but I'm not going to just do a square cut because it's probably not square against the wall. So it'd be nice to sit it in position, put a scribe along it, and then take it off and cut it. Right, that's the edge trimmed down, and I've not screwed it on yet, I've just put it in place. So got a little overhang, ideal. The fridge is going to go here, so there is a cable coming out later. He's asked me to leave the plinth off, which I wouldn't put down until the flooring's on. So now that's done, I can get on with putting the boarding over the wall. I'll have to put the extractor back on because the boarding's going to go up to that. So yeah, it looks nicer than I thought it would. I wasn't too keen on that pattern on the worktop, but It's called Italian marble, and it does look quite nice. Right, I've got 10 minutes left before it's time to go, so I think I'm just going to have a bit of a clean up and get things organised. I'm starting to make a bit of a rubbish pile here, so try and keep on top of it so it doesn't build up into a massive pile. Right, Wednesday morning. So today, what I'd like to do is get the panelling in above the worktop. So it's Respatex panels, but what I want to do, I don't want to waste any, and we've got 5 sheets, I think, 3, 4, 5. And I want to panel this wall, and it is Baltic in here, so I'll close that. And the offcuts from these cuts should work in the kitchen. So I might start from that corner and yeah, just get into it. Right, this is phase 2 of panelling around the bath. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a mishap. Whilst I was measuring, I was leaning on the bath toppled over. It was secured to the floor on this side. I hadn't sealed around the outside edge. So I thought it was all right, and then noticed that. So I had to go and get another bath. So same bath, and I've just refitted it, leveled it all up on the feet. So now I'm gonna put silicone down the edges, make sure it's all bonded in. If any water gets behind the shower board, which it shouldn't do, it will come back into the bath, so, and that will hold it tight. So I'm going to put that in. It's 25 to 10. I'll get that in and I'll start cutting the panels in. Get a good measurement, cut them, start from the corner, work my way along. That's the corner joint. So I've just stuck it on it's just pushed on. That's cut to size now, so I'm going to go and try that in over the bath. If it fits all right, I will silicone that on, so it's all sealed, and then I can bond that to the wall, and then make my way across the wall, putting more and more on as we go. Right, that's just propped in place. We've got a gap, I'll just silicone that at the top of it. I'm going to have to keep it, because the wall is so out square, and obviously the bath is square. I have to keep this away, not that much. I have to keep it off the wall a little bit, so this next panel will cover the edge of the bath. I have to build it up with, I'll have to put some blocks or something behind it, and then build it up and feather it out so it goes to nothing, so keep it square with the bath. So that just means this reveal will be slightly longer than this one, but you won't notice it. Right, so I think we can glue that now, bond it on, and then move on to the next one. That's the first one, bonded on. So we're going to end up with a little gap here. I'll put some more silicone nats to build it up. But I will be able to step it away from these and feather it down. So this next cut comes to about here. So I'm going to have to leave it long, cut out for the bath. It's going to be a bit of a tricky cut, this one. Alright, this is turning into a nightmare. I've got so many things to cut round. The window, that. So it will not clip in. It's got to go in at an angle, and it can't because I have to get it nice and tight around there. And now I've got to cut another 5mm out so I can get it in at an angle, and it's going to have a gap there, which is a pain. But what it's doing now is it's pushing everything that way, which isn't any good. I need to get it back that way again. Right, and I've glued it all, so I'm going to it's going to be glue everywhere. That's it in. What I'll have to do is, obviously I've got to put the cheeks in and the base, but I can do that afterwards. Yeah, we'll seal up the sides, seal around the bath. We'll seal everywhere, but I'll wait till everything settles down first, and all the glue's got to grab on the boards. But yeah, that was quite tricky with different things to cut out for. That pipe was a nightmare. cutting around the bath. I couldn't get the gap any smaller than that. But you won't notice it, and it's got silicone in. Right, this one should be a breeze compared to that one. Alright, that's the last piece in now. So that's all the, oh no, it's not all the paneling done because I've got to do around the windows. So I'm going to nip off and get some edging strips to go around here so I can put the bases and the sides in. I've got to seal around the top, but I can only go so far because that one has just been glued on. That blue, that's insulation tape, that's just where the cable runs up behind to go to the lights fitting for the shaper socket and mirror. And we've got to fit a unit there. So I'm going to go and, the unit we've got, which I quite like, they say it's too small. The sink's too small. So they want a bigger unit to go in there. So I'll have to go and see if I can get hold of a bigger unit. There's not a great deal of space in there. I can seal all around the bath. It's just, it'll make it look perfect then. It just, you know, if you see little gaps here and there, which I couldn't do without, because I wouldn't be able to physically get it in. The only way I could have got that in otherwise is to put all the paneling up, put the bath against the wall, mark it, cut it out with the paneling on, then slide the bath into it, which in this, you wouldn't get a tighter fit than that. That's all pretty good. And this gap here, there's no way it would have, you have to put it at an angle, and it just wouldn't go without a gap. You have to have a gap. And plus there's expansion and contraction as well. So the boarding, that's not being cut down the length, so it's just off the floor, so we're gonna have to put a bit of skirt in there. But we've got 2 pipes and a waist to come out, so we're gonna have to have a bit of boxing anyway, so we can sort of blend that in there. Yeah, I have to have a bit of skirting or something to cover up that piece down there. So I think what I'll do is, while I'm letting this go off, there is a slight mismatch in colour there, a very slight. But I suppose it'll all blend in the same. You have to really push it together to get it to join. But to get a crowbar behind it and wedge it over. It's all right when you've got plenty of room, you can wiggle it about, but this one you've got to lift it up whilst you're getting in at an angle, and then push it as you're pushing it that way. There's a lot of different directions going on. Right, let's go and get, oh yeah, this is, we're now Thursday morning. So I was hoping to get all this done before I left yesterday, so that all the glue would have been gone off. But the woman who gives me the work, she came round at 4 o'clock and asked me to go and have a look at another couple of jobs. So there's a kitchen that needs, so I keep doing that. I turn the phone around and turn it off, record. Yeah, she's got a property that's empty. It's owned by the same people that own this. And it needs, the kitchen's very tired. The house has been redecorated, so if I could just nip in, replace all the the doors and drawers on the kitchen, and it'll just tidy up a bit and make it look a bit nicer. So I've been asked to do that. It's a bit of a sort of as soon as I can job. So she's going to choose the door fronts, the style of them. I've measured up for what I need. So I was there for like an hour last night doing that, so by the time I got back here, it was too late to carry on. I could have done, but it was I had other things to do. So right, I'm gonna go and get some bits and pieces, let the glue go off, and then yeah, hopefully get this pretty much nailed, this bit done. Oh, I've just put some sealant around the top of the bath, just to fill that gap. I'll just put a bit down the side, down that side. I've got some trims I just bought. Let's see if I can get that behind there. I'll come back a bit. The ceiling, I've sealed around there and down that side as well. So it just makes it look a bit more presentable. I've got to get on with these bits now and that bit, and then we can get out of here. Oh, apart from, I've got to go and find a sink vanity basin for that. Right, I've put the sides on around the window. What I need is some plastic angle now just to cover these and finish it off. So, and I need the upright, so I'm going to go and get those bits now. I'll put a trim down the end to cover the gap that was there. and it can still expand and contract behind it, which is good. It's a shame about the blue tape, but I'd rather have it looking a bit rough now and people not going through the pipe. It's a shame that these are the corner profiles that come with the plastic, and they're ever so slightly different colour. I'm sure it'll blend in together. But yeah, so that's just about done for all the Respatex. I don't think it's called Respatex anymore, shower panel. Can't put the bath panel on, or the framework, until the plumber's been. I'll put this plastic pipe in, so it just goes down. There's no joints in it or anything, it goes back under the bath. There's two main feeds there, hot and cold, so you can connect the taps up, bring them down, do the sink and the waste out, and then I can put the bath pan in. So yeah, let's go and find the sink. Right, because there's going to be a shower door coming up from here, it's going to be unsupported at the top. So what I've done is I've brought some square down pipe, which I will fix. Obviously cut it to length, fix it top and bottom, make sure it's secure, and then the shower door can fix the front of that. And then between that and the plastic, we will put we could put glass if it's toughened, or we could put perspex. And then I bought these, which are like edging strips, and they're just going to go to cover the joint. But I'll put them on first before I put the downpipe on it, and I'll mitre the corners just so it looks all nice. So we only need 3 to do it. I think that will finish it off nicely. So yeah, we're not far off being done in here. I looked at sinks. The one I've got is a 500. They do a 600 or an 800. I think 800 is going to be too big. So the 600, I've got to check with them that they're okay with the 600. I don't want to buy one then they say it's not big enough. It'd be good if they had a look and chose it really, rather than me guessing. So I've got to take the girlfriend to the airport now, so that's it. I'm going to give this a miss. I'm at another job tomorrow, but I feel good that we've moved on quite a bit. I think we've almost finished here, and we've almost finished in the kitchen. So it won't be long we can move back upstairs, carry on with that. On the static from the plastic, I've been planing down the corner of the cap to get the edge off. That was the infill bit, and it's just made it static and stick to the front of the unit. That will just drop off when the static runs out. This is the job where I did the handrails the other week, same house. So this is at the west of the island. They've asked me to make a cupboard. This is where the pull down bed was that I removed. So it had a light either side, and that light had a rather hot bulb in it. It's one of the old type, so quite dangerous, and you don't really want lights in the cupboard. They'll just get knocked and damaged. So I've taken the lights out. I did take the second light out as well, and I've wrapped the wires. There is block connectors on the wires, and I've wrapped them in insulation tape, so that will keep them protected until the electrician comes back. It was pouring down, and I was cutting everything outside. It was lovely when I got there. It was like a summer's day, and it just poured down. Everything got soaked. So yeah, I put the hanging rail in and all the shelving. I've done 2 hanging rails on the right hand compartment, so you can have like blouses above and your trousers and all that, and then next to it you've got for long dresses, and so it's all items. I've still got the sliding doors to do there, but I'm waiting for the sliding door track to turn up, then I can make the doors and fit them. But that's it it's Friday now. It's been a weird week because I was in England last week, but I feel like I've got plenty done, and looking forward to next week. I've got someone helping me on Monday. So yeah, variety of jobs. See you next time.